Good morning and welcome to Tech Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Tracy Kraushorn. This is Wayne Kraushorn.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. And today, since we had a little, heavy traffic, some technical issues, we are just going to do security assessment take 2. So if you had trouble last week viewing it, we're just going to redo it for you because
we lost about the first 3 to 4 minutes in that thing. And it's just, as we said, it's something that everybody who is working from home is running into these days. The internet providers are not really set up. And then last week was bad because not only have people working from home, but now you have the kids at home and they're streaming and doing all their thing. And so we felt the effects of that.
Right.
So we're going to just try it again, and hopefully our internet will be much better today.
Hopefully so. Well, as always, we're here to educate and support our business and chamber community. So we bring you the latest and greatest in technology and just keep you up to date. You can always submit your questions below. We do go back and look for them, and you can also email them to the email address on your screen. And without further ado, well, I guess I could see, how's it going? What's been happening?
That's good. It's kind of funny. The kids this morning, they were so excited about the cold weather, kind of like growing up in Virginia, how excited we got for snow.
Yeah.
But they just get excited because they can see their breath. It's really, really funny. But it's chilly. It's your bike ride was very chilly, I'm sure. So.
Oh, yes.
But it's fun. It's feeling like Christmas.
It is. It's starting to feel like Christmas. Absolutely. So, stay warm today as most of the rest of the country is like, whatever. But we are going to go ahead and get started. So, Wayne, can you explain again what a network security assessment
gladly.
is?
So a network security assessment can mean a lot of different things. There's a wide range of things it can mean depending on the IT provider. Mm-hmm. At a very basic level, some will call it an audit or a discovery, and they look at the very basics of your IT, and they'll look at your licenses for antivirus and your firewalls. I mean, those licenses have to be active because, as we've talked in the past, they update a couple of times a day. Make sure your cloud backups are happening. Sometimes over time, those connections get broken and they're not backing up. We see that so often. Want to make sure you're on the latest operating system updates and patches, and your Wi-Fi security, making sure that you have good security policies in place, and making sure there's no malware or programs that are slowing down PCs. Those are kind of the very basic levels, and most providers don't really charge for that. They're ideal for either a business who doesn't have an IT provider at the time, or maybe they've got somebody and they're not 100% sure if they're doing all the things they say they're doing.
Right.
So it's a nice sanity check. They typically don't cost anything. They take an hour or two, and it's a good thing for a business to do. Mm-hmm. So now that's kind of a basic. Now it can go over to a full network security assessment. And there, these are larger efforts. We usually have software that'll crawl through the entire network and look for a lot of extra things like, open listening ports on PCs and firewalls, and login credentials from ex-employees that never got disabled. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Looking for presence of credit card or personal information that's sitting out there that should not be sitting there, or maybe it's a deep dive into your password management. Do you have secure passwords? Are they being changed every certain time period, which is always recommended. They dive into the firewall, looking at inbound and outbound filtering and things of that nature. So there's a lot of things. Some will actually go in and do a physical audit of the IT room or the security or the server room. Mm-hmm. Making sure that it's a locked door that only authorized people can get into. Sometimes they'll look around and make sure there's not, a water pipe sitting over top the rack that could totally take out all of your hardware. And some include penetration testing as well. So those, again, are larger efforts. They take a couple of days. They end in a full report. There's usually a charge for those sorts of things. And they're ideal for larger businesses with an IT department, or maybe, again, somebody who has an existing IT provider and want to make sure that they are totally locked down. So,
well, can you explain what penetration testing is?
Yeah, so a penetration test, some call it a pen test, and it's the goal of it is to search for vulnerabilities in the network and try to gain access through them. If you think about the IT provider will come in and use all the tools available to a cyber criminal to gain access. And there's a lot of terms that get thrown around in these things. They're white hat and black hat. The black hat is the actual term for an unethical cyber criminal, and the white hat for the IT provider who ethically tries to get into your system. And there's other things like white box and black box and gray box. A white box simply is, the provider will come in with some knowledge of your network to gain access, and a black box is we have no idea of what your network is, and we try to evaluate it from a remote location and gain access. And a gray box is somewhere in between. So these penetration tests are typically done by larger businesses with IT departments, and they think they have it all locked down, and they just want to do a sanity check and make sure that they haven't missed something. And again, there's typically a charge for it. It takes a few days, but it's well worth it.
Very good. So how does this tie into the compliance audits like PCI and HIPAA? Yeah,
good question. So compliance audits, they include all the things we just talked about, maybe not the penetration testing, but what they do is then add in business policy and procedures. So all the things, the day-to-day operations in a business. And so, one of the, for use, for example, there's PCI and there's HIPAA. HIPAA's the one of the biggest ones for healthcare.
Right.
And so with a HIPAA audit, we'll go in, we'll evaluate all the infrastructure, but then we go through the business and we look for policy rules. We evaluate those. We look for breach notification procedures. We look for private information security procedures, and it's all sorts of stuff. It can be as simple as making sure nobody's writing down personal information on paper. It can be, if you ever notice, the way it should be is when you go to a reception desk in an office, nobody should have a monitor turned towards you because you could potentially read stuff off of it. So it's really going through, evaluating everything top to bottom, generating a report. And what a lot of times it is we help create employee handbooks and pieces in there of how they should be operating. And, these are really good things. They're, because what it does is they're not bad because we often find things that they're not aware of. I mean, case in point was one customer they had at the reception desk. They had a USB drive for backing up off of that. And, what never occurred to them is that it was within sight. A customer could see it and snatch it and run out the door, and you just had a security breach. So it's pointing out little innocent things like that. And so what the purpose of it is and why healthcare providers want to do it is if there is a security breach, you have documentation that you have followed all the rules, so you are less likely to have to pay state and federal fines or litigation fees. So you're doing what you need to do, and that helps protect you. And it's documentation for your insurance if you have cyber insurance. So that's what those are for.
Very good. Well, that is all really good information. And, for those that need it.
Yes,
it's very
absolutely.
Important.
Absolutely.
Very important. Well, that brings us up to my tip of the week. Last week, we talked about shopping online securely since we just had Black Friday and Small Business Saturday and Cyber Monday yesterday. So, you know, just make sure you're following all those safe protocols. All the websites have the HTTPS behind it. So that S stands for secure. But today, since today is Tuesday and we've kind of already passed that, today I want to share, today is actually Giving Tuesday. And I don't know if many people really know that. But yes, today is Giving Tuesday. And what that is it's just a day to give back to your favorite charity, or, you know, maybe someone that, you know, is struggling. Today would be a great day to give of your time or of your resources. And so, yeah, today is Giving Tuesday. I love Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And for anybody who wants to go back and review your 9 tips from last week, that was actually a portion where we had good internet. So you could go towards the end of it from last week's, and you can go through those. They're very helpful, very important for this, because we're still doing a lot of shopping
online.
Yes, between now and the end of the year. So,
we got 25 days.
Oh my.
25 days. Can you believe it?
Coming fast.
I feel like it just flew by.
I know.
Flew by.
I know.
So even with the pandemic and all been home. All right, you're up. Your tip.
My tip today, I'm going to change mine because it is important, and we still come across many customers that still have older Windows operating systems. A lot of them are still running Windows 7. Often we can upgrade them for free. It just kind of depends on the age of it and that sort of thing. We always try to do it for free, but, you know, to underscore the importance of it, one of the things like Microsoft and Apple and their operating systems, they're constantly sending updates, not only to fix bugs, but to help patch, you know, vulnerabilities in their operating system that hackers can get to. But what the end of life meant almost a year ago for Windows 7 is that there are no more updates. And so any patches that cyber criminals find, they are going to take advantage. They are looking for Windows 7 machines. So, you know, it's really, really important. If you're not sure if you have to pay or not, you know, reach out to your IT provider or reach out to us. We'd be glad to take a look at it, and we'll let you know if we can just upgrade it for free or not. But it's really important that everybody does that.
Absolutely. All righty, what's coming up next week?
Next week, we are, and I promise next week, hopefully we're actually going to do it this time. No, what we get up a lot from businesses is they'll have a server, and it's getting old, end of life, and they're trying to decide, do I want to replace a server, which is in-house, or since they have, a lot of people have more and more people working remotely, do I want to go to a virtual server? And so there's a lot of ins and outs and aspects to making that decision. And we're going to spend some time talking about it to help people make a decision.
Very good. All righty. Well, you can see our information is up on the screen. If you have any questions, need anything, please just give us a call or email us at the email address. And we are always more than happy to answer your questions and help you out. So we hope you have a great week, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye now.
Take care.